This episode of the Brown Park Podcast is presented by Grow Clinics. If you're ready to take control of your hair health and your confidence, visit growclinics.com.au. Hello.
Hello, mates.
I feel like today we're going to cry.
I think I cried even researching this one.
I think we're going to have a tear today. Our guest is a guy by the name of Danny Lesslie. I don't want to tell you his story. Suffice it to say, hang around. He has one hell of a story, but get a box of tissues.
That's cool. Well, the tears.
Not for the reasons you're saying. Fuck.
The Brown Podcast.
Coffee time, is it?
It is coffee time. It's early on a Saturday morning.
It is. Question.
Hit me.
You are coming up on your 49th birthday.
In June, yes. 49.
So you are 1 year away from getting ye old bowel screening test.
Well, apparently I was at the doctor's last week or something, and he was saying that they're coming out earlier now. So he said after 45 they come out. But yeah, go on.
Really?
Mm.
Mine is still sitting here from last year.
You haven't gone and scraped your poop yet.
I haven't done it.
Why not? What's holding you back?
Well, the whole thought of scraping my own poop.
Valid.
And now it's actually expired.
Oh,
I have to go
no.
and get
So then you got to go to the doctor now to get one.
Yep.
So the government tries to help you out with your health and you reject their offer of help.
Yeah. It just sat there and it was like, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. I've got to do it. And then when we're researching today's story, I'm like, oh my God, I've really got to do this.
And now it's too late.
Well, no, now I'm just going to have to go and get the finger up the bum.
Is that why you did it? That's why you did it. Oh.
Where are you, by the way?
I'm in Texas.
Texas. Ooh, you're an important, I'm not getting into politics, but you're an important state at the moment.
Yeah. I try to avoid politics at any juncture.
Me too. That's good.
I don't know. I love American politics at the moment, but yeah, you're an important state.
It is a fireworks show most of the time.
Yes. Yeah. So, fireworks is polite.
Yeah, right.
we just sort of in the lead in went, I feel like today's episode we're going to cry.
I'm an emotional being.
It's a good chance. She is my favorite thing to talk about, and I cry every time I talk about her. So, fair point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Look, I'll let you tell your story because it is one that everybody should pay attention to. But it is also a remarkable story of overcoming the worst situation you could think of, and then not thriving but surviving, I would say, at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, thriving is not the word. Surviving is definitely a better word, I think. So I was married for 10 years to an amazing woman named Rafi. We have two beautiful daughters. 5 of the years that we were married, we're battling stage 4 vulvar cancer. And, when we were moving all over the country, we met in Los Angeles, decided to leave Los Angeles with 2 little kids, sold all of our stuff, bought an RV, as you do, traveled the Western United States in an RV, got back to where my family lives in the Midwest and kind of set up shop there, lived in the RV, did ranch life, and we were thriving with little kids. Life is so busy. There's no time for anything. I'm managing a ranch during the day. Rafi's got the girls home. She's a teacher by trade. She's homeschooling the girls. She's taking them to hiking groups. We built a coffee trailer. We had a coffee trailer on the weekends. We were out, having fun. We had a herd of alpacas. We had ponies. We were just like doing the homestead thing, just literally living the dream. And then she found a mass on her vulva and had to get a surgery immediately. And that after that surgery, the doctor told me that it was cancerous. And then I was to tell her. And that was one of the worst conversations.
So the doctor told you, not her.
Well, yeah. So, I think back to it, and it felt very unfair at the time. Obviously, we weren't expecting cancer. Like we hadn't even talked about it. It just she needed a surgery, so we went to the surgery and got it done. And after the surgery, if you've ever had someone that's in surgery, the recovery, it takes them a couple hours to kind of come back to, they're just not with it. And you can't have conversations in that moment. Like, there's just no way. And her surgery maybe ended at 2 p.m, and it was 8:30 p.m. before we had the conversation. So, there's like 6.5 hours in there where nothing is. So the doctor's not going to wait around, and we lived an hour from the hospital. And so, I took her home, and then she asked what the doctor said. And I had to tell her that it was cancerous. And that's your person is coming to you for support and comfort and rescue, and then all you've got is like a dagger for her. That was just gross. Still, it still makes me ill to think about it, because it's the thing you don't want to tell them. Yeah. But you have to be honest, and you can't not. And and that night, man, this happened at that ranch I was telling you about, and our life exploded. I mean, a couple years previous, we had a mother alpaca that had a baby to us. And so we had this baby alpaca. Well, the baby alpaca had grown up and become 2 years old, and we had bred her. And so we had a herd of alpacas of 9, and she was pregnant. So she was like the second generation for us. And right after her diagnosis, within weeks, that alpaca got a disease and died. And it about killed me. And so we sold this dream of ours, this herd of alpacas. We also sold our coffee trailer. We sold our RVs. Like, we were just letting go of these dreams that we were previously a month ago living, which is really it's such a heartbreak to look back at. I mean, it was heartbreaking in the moment, but we were so focused on what we were doing, and we didn't think it was going to take her. But to look back at it, it's so hard. And then for the next 5 years, almost 5 years, I got fired from that job, lost our house and income in one day, and then ended up getting fired again from another job. And these are not of reasons of my own doing. It was just, they just would let me go, and we had to find a place to live a couple times. We had to relocate. I mean, the years were just the most tumultuous years ever, but we held together, and we fought for like 5 years, and it just outpaced us in the end. And I mean, the story is so incredible, and we can talk more about that, but that's 12/12/24 we lost her.
So how old was she when you found out, or how old was she when it all took a hold?
I think she was 30.
30.
Because she passed away at 35.
I had never even heard of this type of cancer.
Yeah, it was really hard, because squamous cell carcinoma is the type of cancer, right? It's like the one that you always see, like my dad got it taken off his forehead or like off his hand. It's like common there. But to have it like where she had it on her vulva is like, never heard of it. And so the only like peers that they could find of her were like 60-year-old women that have smoked. And she's 30. She's super healthy. She doesn't smoke. She doesn't drink. Eats very well. Paleo. None of it made sense. And so we just no one knew what to do with it. Admittedly, no one knew. So you just start trying things, and that after the journey that we went on, I would say that she probably did like 4 laps around the track of having the thing flare up, and then you go with a treatment protocol, and that is so exhausting as a person that's dealing with it for her. But she showed up with the most joy and the most love, and like just so graceful the entire time. And it's like, when you have someone you love, watching this disease like grow on them and like morph their bodies, so I don't know what to do with the anger and the it's just, and a person like her who is just a quintessential mother. She prided herself in, our girls, and that was her whole life. And she had to have a cancer that was like in her reproductive area. Like what an insult. And it was just so degrading. It just, there's just so many things and she did all of that. And we would go places and she would walk in and she would meet people and they would have no idea what she's dealing with.
Yeah.
I mean, if you sat on a saddle, everywhere that's touching the saddle was tumors. She couldn't sit, she couldn't walk, she couldn't lay down, can't take a bath, open wounds. And she still was like laughing and like loving us. I mean, it was like, it was far beyond anything I could ever imagine, pain-wise or resiliency-wise. Like, people would tell me, like, man, you're so strong. I'm like, do you see who I'm sitting next to? Like,
yeah.
I just watch her, and everything I deal with is nothing because she's dealing with so much. But yeah, it is crazy.
I mean, how did your marriage go through it? Like, when you were in the thick of it, I mean, there would have been anger, there would have been sadness, bouts of happiness.
One of the hardest things, one of the biggest lessons I learned was in the beginning when we first were kind of dealing with this path. She was very holistic. She didn't want to take any drugs. She had both of our daughters, no drugs, natural birth, midwifery, like wasn't, didn't like medicine. If she was sick, she wouldn't take medicine. She would just wait it out her whole life. So it was after her first surgery, as she was recovering, and while you're recovering from surgery, they won't do anything new to you. Well, her lymph node in her left hip was growing. And it grew and it grew, and it was the size of a kiwi, and then it was the size of a baseball, and then it was the size of an orange, and then it was the size of a grapefruit. And it was so big, we were talking about poking it with a needle because it looked like it was just a bunch of fluid that needed to just express itself. Well, went to the emergency room on Thanksgiving. They turned us away because she had a cancer history, sent us home with a huge bill, didn't do anything. And that tumor tore through her skin. Like, it tore its way out. It ripped its way out, which is like the most horrific thing. I mean, you think about it, it's like this is something you would see in a movie. And it was happening to her. And so she had an open wound for like a year or a year and a half that she had to bandage. And when I say, like, we went, like, the room you're sitting in, if you filled it with gauze, we went through more gauze than that. And I'm not kidding. Like, that, so much gauze because it was constantly, letting out. Yeah. And she's enduring all this pain, and she's still a mother. She's still a wife. It was unbelievable. And we were sitting in our house, and it was at this time where I was like, we had gone to a doctor there, and the doctor had said, you guys need to go conventional treatment, like pull out the big guns because we're losing. Like, we're losing pace to this disease. And we knew that, but we didn't have a plan. So we were sitting in our living room, and I was like, babe, you got to go. We got to do like chemo radiation because I didn't want to just watch. I didn't want to lose her, right? I felt like I was going to lose her. I was going to watch it happen. And she said no. And my only defense was like, what do you mean? Look at what's going on. Like, look at your body. But how are you going to say that? Right? You can't say that to someone. And so we sat there and we argued. And I mean, I'm hard-headed and she's hard-headed. And I'm telling you, like, I was like, our marriage might be over. And this is not the time to have a marriage be ending. And it was in that moment that previously, before that, I should have said this before, but I had a moment where I was in full panic mode, and I had a message appear to me that I think God was like, hey, man, listen. And it said, you're not strong enough for this. And so I remembered that had happened and that I had that message. And in that moment, I decided that I was like, I'm going to lay down my sword, and I'm going to choose our marriage and our love over being right, over having a solution. And so I decided that we would now look at this cancer from the same side of the table, right? We were butting heads, and we didn't need to have this animosity between us because she had enough going on. Like, she had enough to battle. She didn't need to argue with me about some thing or whatever. So in that moment, we decided to come to the same side of the table and make choices. Well, we ended up choosing the conventional treatment, but the important part is that we chose unity.
Yeah.
And so in that, after that happening, which maybe took a few days, we're bulletproof. Like you couldn't break our marriage up. Like it didn't matter. Like you couldn't give us something that would break it. And still to this day, like our love has continued to today, and she's not even here.
Yeah.
And it's proof of it. And so I would say like being able to like lay down your sword and come to the same side of the table and find unity in your marriage, that was a huge thing for us. And we had to start stepping we had to like get more intimacy weapons, right? Because intimacy can sometimes be sex, which we're not doing that because of her condition.
You can't.
So that's not an option. It's just not an option. So what do you do? And it's like, well, we started to think about like, okay, we just naturally started to do different things. You know, there's spiritual intimacy, there's experiential, and I talk about this in the book. There's different ways to be intimate with each other to still build your relationship so that this thing doesn't take you down.
Yeah. Because
it matters. Like it matters that she feels loved. It matters that I feel loved. We're still married. We still have a union. And that all kind of started around that time where we really started to get knee deep in all of this.
This is the Brown Park Podcast. Now, a word from our sponsors.
Are you one of the many Australians experiencing hair loss? Do you find yourself avoiding the mirror or constantly trying new products that just don't work? Well, there's a solution that's backed by science and delivers real results, and it's Grow Clinics. Grow Clinics is a leading hair transplant clinic with locations across Australia and New Zealand. They perform over 150 hair transplants every single month, and their procedures are led by experienced doctors who are experts in the field of hair restoration. But Grow Clinics isn't just about hair transplants. They offer a wide range of services to combat all stages of hair loss. Whether you're looking for prescription hair care you can use at home or you're interested in specialised non-invasive treatments in clinic, Grow Clinics has you covered. With clinics in Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth and Auckland, New Zealand, there's a Grow Clinic near you. And the best part? They're offering a free consultation for our listeners of the Brown Park Podcast. Just mention our show when you call in to book and you'll be on your way to a fuller, healthier head of hair. So don't wait any longer. Take control of your hair loss journey with Grow Clinics.
This is the Brown Park Podcast with Christo and Dion. Now back to the show.
Last year I lost my father to cancer, and I watched him. It was like got a diagnosis about this time last year, passed away later in the year, and I saw resentment build up between my mother and my father, and it was kind of like he got resentful that she gets to stay on. Was that something that happened in your relationship at all? Was because I've seen that happen in a few times now where the partners kind of, they end up getting so, and it's not intentional by any means, but it's kind of like becomes a resentment build up towards the other person. It's like kind of like, well, fuck you. I've got this. You don't have this.
Yeah.
And you get to stay on and do everything, and I'm going to go off and do whatever.
I wouldn't say there's a resentment. There were a few conversations which were very interesting because she would, while going through this, being years into this, she would say, I think I have the easier role to play here than you do, speaking to me. And I would just be like, there's no way.
Wow.
Like that. No, I didn't agree with her because she's the one that's suffering so greatly, you know? It still is like, it's hard to think about that conversation, to hear that someone loves you that much, that even when she's dying, she's worried about me. It was kind of the opposite of like, there was like, we just kind of pushed for each other. One second. What's going on?
That's all good, man.
Okay, wash.
Hey mate, go help your kid.
Go and deal with that. We're fine, man. We can wait a sec.
You've lost your wife. You're the widower now.
Yeah, such a weird word, man.
So like parenting, like it just happened then where you don't have Rafi there to help in these moments. How is that going for you? And how do you manage it?
That's the part that makes me miss her the worst. Because she was such a good mother. She had the answer for everything. She's just full of love. And I am not naturally that person. Like, I'm very independent. I'm very good with, like, solving things. But I have to fight for the nurturing piece. I really have to fight for it. And, you know, when something happens, I panic because she's not here. And if I'm a tick off, like just a little bit, then they start panicking. It's like this, and they can tell if I'm just a little bit off, then they're like, "What's wrong, Papa?" And so it's really hard because there's no way to fill her shoes. It's just not, you know. And I remember when she first passed, I sat there on the couch and I was just mortified at parenting them alone. And it's still scary. Like, there's not enough time to do everything. There's not enough time to do anything.
Yeah.
And that's the part that's just, it's so hard. And it's probably the thing that gets me the most. I mean, I miss her so much. But man, when they have something and it's just me, I feel like I'm doing such a lesser job than she would do, even when I'm at my best. And I know that's not a fair comparison, but that's how it feels.
Do you have support from family?
I mean, I do. We have a great church family here, which we met after Raph passed, so none of them know her, which is really hard. And they have a great school, but my family's not that close, and we're pretty much here. I mean, we have people around, but like, there's no daily support. Like, if I can't pick them up from school, I don't really have an answer, and that sucks. But you know, there's a lot of things that suck. You just got to deal with what you deal with.
The thing with parenting as well is, especially with like a 9 and 10-year-old, they don't care how you feel at any given point in time. Do you know what I mean? It's a very, and I mean this with the utmost love because I have 3 kids of my own, but it's a selfish age. They want you, and they don't care about whatever else is going on. They just want whatever's going, whatever they are feeling in that emotion in that way.
And it's funny because I spoke to her about this time, right? And I was like, hey, I have this interview with these guys. I'm going to be on for like an hour. And she knew it. And of course she throws soap in her eyes and like has to come in, you know, and like I could have called it. Like, I just didn't know when it was going to happen.
Yeah. I find those kind of moments incredible. Like, you can be sitting there having the deepest conversation about something with your partner. And in your case, you know, you've dealt with this for 5 years. You'd be sitting there going, okay, so we've got to do this, we've got to do that. And then a child would walk in and go, I farted. And it's a weird parallel, I guess, between what you're going through and then what they know.
Yeah, it's crazy. But my girls are the emotional bandwidth of those kids is far beyond many adults I know. Like, they're, after all of this they've gone through, they are amazing kids, and they're very intuitive. And I'm very appreciative that they're that way.
And I know, looking at your Instagram, and look, you know, Instagram and social media is like a best of compilation of what's going on. I think keep up the dancing. The dancing is pure happiness.
Yeah, and that was the thing that, like, Raph we would always do, well, when she could, you know, but she was, like, I remember when we first started dating, I was just mesmerized by her, and like, watching her dance, I was like, I don't have any interest in anything else. Whereas, like, everything else lost color, you know? And so it was a big thing for our family, and our girls love that. And so we try to keep that, and that's always a mama thing, right? Dancing is a mama thing. And it's one of the ways that we kind of carry her, you know, with us in our days.
And can I ask, I mean, I know your kids were young, but telling them that their mum's got this disease, how did you do that, and how did they handle it?
Well, so when it first happened, when we first had the surgery, it was in 2020, and so they were born in 15 and 16, so they were They were 4 and 5. It was a bump. Mama has a bump, which wasn't a lie. It's true. Our biggest fear was that, the word cancer would come out from one of them, and somebody would have a really big reaction to it, and then they would then form their opinion off of someone else's irrational reaction when the other person didn't really know what they were talking about. So we called it a bump for the first years. And by the time that they started using the word cancer, I mean, we had been going to treatment for 3 years. We were used to it. They were used to it. And so I'm really glad we did that, because at that point they knew what Mama was going through. They had seen her, struggle, and they had seen her get treatment. And so that's how we did it. I don't know if it's just how we did it. And it was a beautiful thing, because they would talk about, Mama's bump. How's Mama's bump? And, they were able to talk about it, and there was no like stink in their mind other than Mama's not doing so well. That was the only thing that was,
And did they ever know the seriousness of it at the time? Like, did they know that this could, take our mum?
No. I mean, not more than like her body changing, I would say. Okay. And, this is interesting because I chose, I believe Raffi chose, and to hold on to hope the whole time. Yep. So I never, even to the very end, was never believing that she was actually going to pass, which I guess you take your stance, but my biggest fear was that I would give up and that she would see me give up on her, and that we would, you know what I'm saying? So I think as it got towards maybe the last few months, I guess, it was becoming, one of our daughters said she had a dream, and she actually drew a picture at my parents' house. So Raffi died in December. The girls were at my parents' house, I don't know, in the springtime, maybe, at some point. And my mom brought a picture that our youngest had drawn, and it was a picture of what it turns out is it's an angel, and I think God is in the picture, and maybe Mama, but it says, "Welcome to Heaven, 2024," and it was drawn like 9 months before this all happened. And I mean, that's crazy. And
far out.
Yeah.
And they're very connected kids. But none of us didn't want to believe it. And I'm happy with that stance. It didn't work out, but whatever. I'd rather hold on to hope than give up.
And we're going to leave the conversation there for this episode. We're going to split this one in two, because there's just so much of his story that we want to share with you. And we had quite a long time with him. So next week, we will put out the second part of our conversation with Danny Lesslie. We hope you can join us then.
The Brown Podcast.
Why are you happy?
Because I don't want to be sad.